All right, so our first stop on this uh, historical trip is for today. By the way, welcome. It's Spin Ventures here. We are in Bunnell, Florida, just right outside of Palm Coast, and today is History Day. I just happened to be here during the time of this event, and I'm glad I was. This goes on from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this is the Dolores Dean dollhouse I am actually standing in right now. You can see the small little dishes and cups and pots and pans in here. And this looks like they were made out of clay. These bowls that were used, and this has been restored. This has been all restored, and it just looks like it was like just never.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you for letting us look inside.
Yes. And it was on Christmas morning in 1955 when William Henry adopting 6-year-old granddaughter Dolores awoke to his hand-built dollhouse, constructed by her Aunt Margaret, Jane Dean's stepfather, Perry Hunt, on the Hunt family farm in Orange Mills, Florida. Many tea parties took place in the dollhouse with neighborhood children, with Dolores' grandfather, Doc. The iconic dollhouse originally stood at 805 East Moody Boulevard, donated to the Historical Society, which we're going to go into in a moment, in 2021. When the fate of Doc Dean House was uncertain, the house still stands. Pictured here is Dolores with her brother, Billy, of 1955. That's Dolores right there, who actually was standing right out here. And this is there we go. Very cool. That's really cool.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yes, I love it. It reminds me of just like my so that little dollhouse back there behind me. That was the Dean dollhouse, and like I said, it was on Christmas morning of 1955, and the lady I was talking to is in this picture. That was her house, her dollhouse. Makes it even more exciting. But now, let's check out the Holden House, which is built in 1918 by Sam Bortry, 1959 to 1918, as a gift for his daughter, Ethel. 1892 to 1977, son-in-law, Thomas Holden, 1892 to 1974. Holden was a town pharmacist and prominent in business, civil, and political affairs. Unique feature on the house is broken apothecary glass Holden used from his pharmacy as decoration on the gables. This home is among more elaborate examples of craftsman bungalow style, featuring coquina, a shell and stone mixture quarried in this region. The Holden House was associated with I. Moody, 1874 to 1918, and Bunnell Development Company, principal forces behind the first significant settlement and development of Bunnell. The Bunnell Development Company plated the town 1909. 2 years later, the Florida legislature incorporated Bunnell as a town. The Holden family retained ownership of the property until Flagler County purchased it in 1978. Except for the addition of a sunroom on the east side of the house and the replacement of sash windows, the house retains original features as the Florida flag waves in the breeze and the Americans. Let's go check out the Holden House. Alright, so we are in the Holden House Museum, and this is from Tom Holden, who was originally a pharmacist in Palatka, moved to Bunnell in 1915. An eligible bachelor, he met Ethel Bortry at a local dance. Ethel's parents were the owners of the Pine Grove Inn. The two fell in love and were married. Ethel's parents built them a home next to their inn as a wedding present. The craftsman-style house was completed in 1918. Tom and Ethel had 2 daughters. Each became pharmacists and married pharmacists. Holden Drugs had locations in Bunnell and Flagler and Ormond Beach. So, as we start, for entry, one tour of both buildings. Oh, wow. But this is, of course, an old record player here, and, of course, the piano, all in its original state. This is like the library research. This is more of like a reading.
I heard her back there, but she might be in the back building.
Alright, I'll check.
Okay.
Here's where they went to high school. At the high school, they went to Bunnell High School. The biggest little band in Dixie, the Bunnell Bulldogs. And this is the historical sites of Flagler County. There's where we are. There. And where were we yesterday? Let me see if we can find it. Not Washington Oaks. The courthouse, which is right across the street.
Okay, yeah.
Not in here. But it does say.
Yes, she has it there. She'll look it up for you.
Florida Agricultural Museum. There she is. There's one of the daughters. Miss Mosby and a tarpon. Amazing catch was by the daughter-in-law of Seventh-day Adventist church pastor O.C. Mosby. Miss Mosby and her husband purchased the Flagler Beach Holden Pharmacy. This is the gift shop. This is the gift shop right here. Here's the degrees. Eleanor Holden of the two daughters. Neuropharmacy, the state of Florida. Tom E. Holden, registered pharmacist, and Eleanor Pearl Holden, Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy from the University of North Carolina. And here's the kitchen, dining room. This is the dining room. Dining room.
And Diane Marquis.
Thou shalt not sit here. The Georgia State Bureau Board of Pharmacy. Thomas E. Holden of Palatka, Florida, on the 2nd day of April 1912, in conformity with an act of the General Assembly. I cannot read cursive. And also the Tennessee Board of Pharmacy. Altajane H. Cadill is a pharmacist. So this was a pharmacy house. They have snacks. And then all these Eleanor H. Blackshut, State of Florida Bureau of Pharmacy. There's, but really, all this is original from the original house. So this is like the sewing, the mangler. It was used to iron curtains, clothes, or tablecloths, and received its nickname from hair, sleeves, and hands getting caught. The mangler. There's the bathroom. The old water heater. Water heater right there. Nice robe. Or dress. That's a dress. This looks normal, though. Celebration of the century. City of Bunnell. 100-year anniversary. From 1913 to 2013. Humpmobile Jack. This goes to the car in the ad above. Here's a 6 you must surely reckon with if performance means a thing to you. A 6 that is bound to win you if you care one iota for the very utmost and at the same time the most economical in 6-cylinder motoring. So this is the sewing room. This is the service station at the corner of US 1 and State Route 100. The sewing room. 3 machines in this room are all period correct to the house and are pedal driven. So there was a pedal that you would use right here, the pedal. You put your foot on the pedal and make a constant motion with your foot, and that helps crank the sewing machine so you can stitch up and make clothes like this. Create this, sit in a chair, there's a pedal down there, or was, and when it would turn this wheel right here, the wheel would turn with the wire, and the wire was hooked up to the pulley, and you just move the clothes while the needle sews it back together. Same with this one too. Of course, you got the thread there. This is the ice box and tongs. Before electric refrigerators, this would keep food from spoiling. An iceman would deliver a block of ice, put it in the right-hand side. Food was kept on the left. So the ice was in these right here, these 2 cabinets, ice boxes, and the food was kept here, while the ice would help make the food cold. It was used to provide refrigeration in the Charles Cisco family home on Railroad Street in Bunnell until the 1940s. Ice boxes has hollow walls that were lined with tin or zinc and were packed with various insulting materials such as cork, sawdust, straw, or seaweed. A large block of ice was held in a tray near the top of the box. Cold air circulated down and around the storage compartment in the lower section. Ice was delivered from the Ice House in Bunnell, located after 1926 on the southeast corner of US 1 and Palm Street. When you needed ice delivered, a sign was hung on the outside of your door indicating the amount, and the iceman would ship that amount off a large block of ice on the back of his delivery truck. Bring it inside. Yeah,
we're gonna go look in here.
We'll bring it inside using the ice tongs right here. These are the ice tongs.
Old kitchen. Yeah.
And
want a cookie?
it was the ice box was donated
No, you're okay?
by Claudia Dean Mallow, the great-granddaughter of Charles Edward Cisco and his wife Susie Pauline Hechtel. The Ciscos moved to Bunnell from Ramsey, Bergen County, New Jersey in 1907.
I made your spaghetti in this.
Charles served as a Bunnell County City Commissioner for many years and was a county commissioner when the courthouse was constructed in 1926 across the street. So these are the patient records from the early 1900s. All patient records were kept on paper. Many medication and remedies were hand-mixed and bottled. Also with cameras. Cameras from the same time period as the house and car on the fireplace mantle. Back in the day, you had to wait several days or weeks for your film to be developed.
Thank you.
But now we can get it in 3 seconds.
From the courthouse across the street,
Uh-huh.
and here's a vertebrae
A vertebrae of
from a buying store.
a dinosaur? Wow.
I said, send me a
Cool.
list of who,
Yeah.
and we had a
And
little
you have-
lunch thing for it.
Yeah.
There's the scale from the
And then if
grocery.
you see a bear,
And he-
there's a
it was
trap.
just
You can
tonic
come
for
borrow
him.
it.
And that's
Oh.
what I thought. This keeps him going.
That's a good one. That's good.
It does. And now he's
Good one.
rewriting
A bear
that one
trap,
book
that's
that I
a.
read.
I hate
might-
to see that coming up
Crazy, I
in
can't do this.
the latter part of the year. They're going to open it up for that. If you can, this
Do you have
stuff,
any ideas?
This here?
Uh-huh.
you can put that.
Now,
On your
his,
phone?
his
Uh-huh.
recent
And then
one,
it
I
shows
started
you
reading it a
everything.
few
Oh,
times,
okay.
Yeah,
But
no.
something
Yeah.
happens, and then I end up giving the book away to somebody. And I'll say, okay, and then I'm buying.
Right.
Alright, so we're at the railroad section. Of course, Beaver Trains
I
is
just
still
really
rolling. But unfortunately, with the
So
train station was dismantled in
we
1967.
were going to breakfast.
But these are some of the
Right.
railroad
And he
spikes.
said, why aren't you at school?
The Florida East Coast Railway.
It's okay.
These are all the
And I said, well, I'm waiting to get my
That
knee.
they found
Waiting to get
in
my
the
knee
river.
surgery, and I don't feel good to start school.
This is
Because on
Lindbergh,
Thursday,
when he
the
landed
teacher
here.
expects me there.
And
I was doing the artwork and
sometimes when
everything.
the kids are home
DuPont.
So
school,
anyway, I
on
said,
Wednesday, y'all wanna come
It's
back?
taken in
I
1900.
can't start school this year.
I mean, I'm here.
I have
Richard
the,
Walter
we don't
Cody,
need
1886,
anybody.
1971.
I'm usually here.
So I said, well, I'm always better than
around,
nobody.
But I mean,
St. John
I can
Halifax
go over,
Railroad
and that's how straight.
as a logging
But I
railroad
come
for
in here, and there's no
Utley.
boss, really.
James
Nobody
White and his
can tell you
partner
anything.
William B. Barnett, who later established Barnett National Bank. Ran from Platica to Hastings, Roy,
yeah.
Dinner Island, Espanola, and Bunnell to Tomoka River in Volusia County. Sold to Henry Flagler around 1890 to good advantage.
From a dinosaur?
And he would never tell
From a
me.
dinosaur they found
He's too busy
here.
doing stuff.
and then it might have
And
been.
Mary Ann
Henry
here.
Flagler brought Utley White Narrow Gauge Railroad and made it part of the standard gauge operation.
And she, Mary Ann comes in.
That's what
and Bill's
There are
like,
two trains are seen at the DuPont.
she's
At the
a friend of ours,
DuPont.
mine and Matt's.
The depot showed that in the Throtto, later moved to US, moved east to US 1, where it served as a restaurant. The present railroad crossing is about 100 yards north of the crossing shown here.
All right, you don't want that responsibility.
And that's what I'm.
So here's the Flagler Playhouse. The main entrance. I bet it's open today because it's historic. And it's not open. This was the Playhouse. Flagler Playhouse. So I might need to go around and go this way. So that's the Flagler Playhouse. That's the main entrance, but it's closed for some reason. Let's go to the back of the courthouse. So this car is a sheriff's car, old sheriff's car. Back in 1938. The Buick Police Special. 0 to 70 in 26.2 seconds. Maximum speed 82 miles an hour. Buick Syndrome Mesh 3-speed manual transmission, equipped with Buick state-of-the-art tube AM radio receiver, only used to receive police dispatch calls. Original cost $1,047. Sheriff's 5-point star outline with horseshoes pointing in on the doors. This represents good luck and protection for the deputies. The star decal was used until 1970. So, here's our first stop. We're just going to make a big loop. This is part of the Native American history here in Flagler County.
Table represents the old tribe that lived here before the Seminoles. Seminoles, they're the tribes here before the Seminole tribe. The Seminoles are later on tribes that came here. They came out of Georgia, Alabama. They were slaves and natives mixed together, and they joined what was left of these people. These are the original people of Florida. You know where the village of Saloy is? Today you call it downtown St. Augustine. Yeah. That's where the village of Chief Saloy is. What? I know, that's alligator's foot. That alligator's foot is made into a pocket to put stuff in. See that? See that? That's all right, somebody will ride on it. Don't worry about it. Look at that, that girl's got alligator shoes on. See there? Those are alligator shoes, aren't
Right
they?
there.
There's some more. What do you call them? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Pat Mitchell over at the Carver Center. She's going to be speaking on 5 generations later, slavery to landowner. That'll be happening over at the Carver Center. And coming up here in just a couple of songs, in just about 4 minutes or 4 or 5 minutes, we're going to be doing a hula hoop contest. So if you want to join in on our hula hoop contest, come on over to the DJ.
Right here.
We have our hoops out front. You come on over, start practicing, find a hoop that you like. We'll be doing that here in just...
Which is the time period that the American Revolution began. At the end of the war, 83 in the peace treaty, Florida is given back to Spain. So it becomes a Spanish colony again.
Yes.
So it's not one of the original 13 rebelling colonies that formed the United States. They didn't become the United States until 1821, when they became a territory.
Hey.
How are you today?
Good. I love this. This is Spain. Spain?
No, this is actually a flag that was carried at Lexington and Concord, by the Concord militia. During
Really?
the American Revolution.
Yeah.
But it does look kind of Spanish, doesn't it?
It does. That's why I was like. Then I looked. I was like, wait, that's not Spain.
Now these are all flags from the American Revolution.
What's the red and the one?
The
white?
red one is the flag that was carried at Lexington by the Massachusetts militia. Manchester, Massachusetts militia. That's a hospital. Carried it when they went to Lexington, and after the battle, it was saved by Samuel Forrester, Lieutenant Samuel Forrester. And it
I've heard the name.
Yeah,
I've heard the name.
It remained in the Forrester family for about 150 years and was eventually donated to the Museum of the American Revolution, where it's hanging today.
Wow.
It can be loaded with either birdshot as a shotgun, or it could be loaded with a round ball.
Oh, wow.
It can be used as a...
We have some people picking up their favorite hoop here. Come on over.
Wow, so you got those. So which one would be like the heaviest gun?
The heaviest? Well, let me see. It's kind of a toss-up, but this is probably the heaviest. This is a rifle.
The rifle. With the ramrod? It has the ramrod in it?
Come with the ramrod.
Yep.
Watch, this is how they're fired. You open this at the prison.
1 minute down, 1 minute to go. 1 minute
Okay.
down, 1 minute to go.
Close the prison.
Uh-huh.
And load the barrel. Pull it back to full cock.
Uh-huh.
And
That's spark. I saw it spark, yeah.
the sparks ignite the powder in the thing called the pan.
Uh-huh.
Through a touch hole, goes in and ignites the main powder charge.
I think we have a couple of friends who hasn't dropped it
Okay.
at all yet. We might have to do a hoop off after.
The way I'm dressed, it would be the late 1700s and early 1800s. And you can see everything has changed. We're no longer relying on just nature. We've relied on the English for a long time. They're trading posts. Originally that would be a tool, or it could be a handle for a knife. See, these are knife handles. Deer antlers make good knife handles. That's what mine is, but mine's metal. Once we saw metal, who wants to use a rock ever again?
Yeah, because it'd be too heavy.
Well, the rocks break, metal don't. Right?
Oh.
But originally, everything we had to make originally. So learning to chip a stone and break that rock to make it sharp. That's a hammer. And they also made their hammers out of little pecking stones. And that's how they could plate rocks. And that's how they could make the things that we find today in the original pieces. These are all reproductions. These are originals.
Oh, wow.
That one's 2,000 years old, found by a little girl here in this area. I went to Wadsworth Elementary. Her family showed up and gave me this.
Oh, wow.
They found it in their yard. While the French were learning of their advance, they sent their fleet of ships out to attack the Spanish at the same time and attack St. Augustine. So they were coming to do the same thing, kill them. Same thing the Spanish were going to do, kill them. Unfortunately, a hurricane hit. The Spanish had to march through the hurricane all the way up to Jacksonville Beach and find the fort in Rambles and nobody there. Everybody's on the ships out in the ocean coming to attack St. Augustine. But that same hurricane wiped every one of the boats out along the beaches. And the swim ashores, they weren't lucky. Now they've got to get past St. Augustine. And when the Spanish were alerted that they were marching up the beaches, they met them here at the inlets. And they wouldn't let them cross. They couldn't cross. And so they were afraid of the sharks and such. So they got a boats. And they said, we've already attacked your fort. And they showed the things that they had captured from the fort. And the Spanish told them that they would take them across as prisoners, 10 at a time. When they got them across to the other side in the boats, each group was marched off into the dunes and they killed each one of them individually. And that's why they called the spot Matanzas, the massacre. I think it was close to 1,000 of revolt's men were killed there. I'm not sure how many, but lots of people. As a matter of fact, they had no choice but to kill them because that's what the French were coming to do to them. But if they would have let them be prisoners, there's a good chance that they would have revolted. You know, they would never been able to take care of that many prisoners.
All right, so thank you all for joining me on this short stop of the Bunnell Flagler County History Day. Learned a lot between the little dollhouse. The little dollhouse built in 1955, and just in the history of Flagler County, which is the county we're in Bunnell, and for History Day. Oh, buddy. For History Day, History Day, and so anyway, moving on. Like I said, I've got pictures going up, and my video going up soon. And anyway, learning about just the overall history of Bunnell, the city of Bunnell, and Flagler County, just outside of Palm Coast. Don't forget to subscribe to Spin Ventures, drop a like on the video, comment down below as well. We'll see you all shortly on another Spin Venture as we head to our main attraction for today.